Rena. So just so y'all know, Rena just left me at like 10:59 and then decided to come back. So here we are. Today we are talking about effective sales strategies. Can you check the feedback, Phelan? I'm getting some feedback. Effective sales strategies for entrepreneurs and digital marketers. How to bring in new business. Rena and I have been in. Oh, is that me?
No, I think that's me. Carry on.
Oh, oh, it is you. Maybe it is you. Hold on. Ha ha ha. So we are going to dive into how to bring in new business. If you are in marketing industry or you're an entrepreneur looking to develop more business, we've seen this happening out in the wild. People are looking for new clients, and so we're here to help. I'd say we were here to save the day, but I'd have to break into song, and that's probably not logical. So, Rena, how long have you been in sales? Uh-oh. How did I do that? I muted you somehow. Wait, Rena. No.
It's
Oh.
me. It's totally me. It's all me
You're
today. I seem to
killing
have
me, babe.
some internet. No, today is not a good technology day. I can see the Wi-Fi is not on my team today.
Mm.
But okay, so it's a really interesting question because in the olden days I would have said I'm not in sales, but now I understand fully that if you are a business owner and you do not have a in-house salesperson on your team, that you are most definitely in sales. So basically, I started my business in 2011, and I'd say that I've taken on the sales position really, really full on. Um, Maybe about, I think I got right into it when I joined BNI actually. So that would be 2013, 2012, end of 2012. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah,
interesting.
that's how long. That's how much experience I've been trying new things, different things out. How about
Right?
you?
And you track everything. I have been that's I got out of university and
Right.
my second job was at a magazine doing advertising sales. So I moved right
Right.
into sales. Well, cuz okay, they put me in sales. They they uh, they offered me the job, they gave me a car, and they gave me a raise, and they told me to leave the office. Like I was in heaven. Like I was like, you're gonna pay me
No,
more,
right.
and I
No
don't have
kidding.
to be
No
here. Oh,
kidding.
it's
At
so good.
sales, if you can get like right into sales and if you can do sales, which is a trainable skill, I think, as well as personality traits, obviously. If you can get into sales, I say go into sales because that's where there's a lot of money to be made, in
Well, that
fact.
my dad used to say there's two ways you can make money in life. One is own your own company, and the other is be a
Ah,
salesperson. So I've chosen both. We're still working on the money element, but we do like I don't like the phrasing always be selling, maybe always be helping, but you got to look at sales in a certain way. So we're going to get into a bunch of things today. We're going to talk about lurkers, we're going to talk about upselling clients, we're going to talk about how many sales you need and tracking things. And we're just going to have
yeah.
fun with this conversation. So if you're here and you're joining us on whatever channel you're on, chime in, say hi, let us know what you do, because for instance, Rena here, you track all your sales. You're very
I
diligent for
do.
the most
I
part.
do. I have a pretty serious yeah, I have a pretty serious system that includes spreadsheets and Trello cards. And, the only faulty part of the system is when I don't participate in it. So sometimes when you get really busy, sometimes you drop the ball. But yeah, there was a time where after my BNI chapter meeting every week, I would sit down and review what's in the pipeline, where is everything at, do I need to check in with anybody, have I forgotten about any proposals that are lingering out there in the world,
Mm.
because sometimes that happens. So yeah, having that weekly look at my what's happening used to keep when I had a bigger team, it used to keep the sales coming in, and when the sales come in, the cash flow comes in. We all know that um, that lead management and project management really affect cash flow, and cash flow is the number one killer of small business owners, right?
Right?
Am I right?
Yes, it is true. And this is why. So we were talking a little earlier in this live about how people sell websites, and we decided that we would charge all up front because of
That's
putting
a
the
bold move.
manpower in it. It is bold, but I am bold. And you need to be bold, right? I mean, so one stat I wanted to mention here, because I know some people really struggle with sales, and if you don't feel like you have the traits or skills, sometimes you feel lost about what to do. And 80% of sales usually come from referrals. So
Yeah.
what that means is you got to be out there. You have to figure out what kind of works for you and hone in on that. Like when I started my career, it was like, well, what is the way that I sell best? Or you could say, what is the way I interact with others best? In what environment have people bought things from me from? And that's why I actually joined the BNI. Now I'm no longer part of that,
Yeah.
but I know you
Yeah.
are. And it's because it was in person. And so that's where I excelled at my sales ability, right? But now with video, it's slightly changed. I am
Mhm.
I am not as good as you at tracking my numbers, and I do know that everything that gets measured gets managed, right?
Yes, yes, I love that phrase. I actually think we should make merch with that phrase on it.
Oh yeah, we probably should. You know me. The phrase I need on a shirt is everybody. Not everybody wants a goat, because I am living my best life. I do have 4 dogs. I know it's crazy, but that's because I listened to a gentleman when I was starting my business who said there are 3 things in business: there's
Yeah,
sales, there's marketing, and there's accounting. You're
yeah.
gonna. I don't know anyone that's good at all 3.
No, you need to hire for the bits that you can't do yourself. Honest to God, the moment I figured it out, I went from mediocre accountants who really just submitted my annual tax papers. When I went from that relationship with accountants to an accountant who would call me up to tell me that he's organized me for certain grants, and an accountant who would scold me, Rena, you
How?
can't hire right now. You absolutely cannot hire right now. Or how about, Rena, there's this loan grant situation where I know you were looking for 20,000 to buy another business, so here's where you can get it from the government for free. Um,
Uh,
these kinds of things,
okay.
so
So that
definitely
brings a really
hire
good,
for what you don't know.
right? And that also brings a really good point about how we interact in this world. My business got better when I joined a mastermind
Yes.
for my industry. So I looked for an agency mastermind um, that was specific to me and growing my business. And it really did help. Now, I mean, you need time to implement, so you can't always be in a mastermind. It might suck your time,
Yeah.
and you need your time because you need to be looking at your numbers. um,
Here was the interesting thing. Can I just interject here? Because one of the things that I thought about masterminds before I actually joined any was that if you're going to go into an industry specific mastermind, which I also highly recommend, um, um, sometimes you feel like, ooh, imposter syndrome. I don't want to be around a whole bunch of people that already know what they're doing. And or the other one is, oh, but it's all my competition. I would be better in
that's
business,
a big one. Yeah.
right? But that actually is the farthest from the truth. So if you want to jumpstart your business like super fast, you deal with people who are in your industry because they will be happy to give you the shortcuts.
Mm.
I'm doing the same thing with people that are coming up after me. I'm always like, don't waste your time with this, do this, because I've gone through all the garbage stuff and sussed it all out. And then the other thing is that the benefit of being in a mastermind, and why a mastermind can actually be a sales tool for you, or a sales strategy, or a sales stream, is because when you meet other agency owners and people that are in your business, what happens is if they're bigger than you, they can actually send you overflow work, and that
Mm.
is a really great way to create referral partnerships where somebody can give you overflow. And I know that that's what you said happened to you in that one, and it hadn't even occurred to me.
Well, it's interesting because it was an accidental, beautiful thing. Um, I always look at sales like it's about making new friends because, and now more than ever, now that we're
Yeah,
online, you can find your people. I've
yeah,
found uh people who I just gel with, which is was way harder in my community. And from
yeah,
that, so things to do, I mean, we're going to talk about the having five sales channels because slowly over time that's what you want. You want money coming in from
yeah,
five different sources. But we also want to think about like what you're doing, who you're interacting with, and how you're approaching sales, right? Like
yeah,
um
sure.
if you do measure things, I think like I so we grew really fast in the last 2 years. We're pulling back right now, and that seems to happen. And as we pull back, we're looking at our sales strategy to look at things that we can sell that are packaged, more productized services, right? So,
Yeah,
but so figuring out, all the things is tough. And
totally.
sometimes sales are going to be tough, but you have to keep going. You have to keep
Yeah.
putting yourself out there. And that doesn't mean like coming into a room and sell, sell, sell. It just means
No, not at all.
helping.
In
I
fact,
mean,
for me, it's the opposite, completely the opposite.
what is?
I don't go into a room and try and sell at all. Like,
Nobody likes
I
that. Nobody wants to be
know,
sold to.
and but interestingly enough, there's in the world, there are the people that look at sales as a number game, and they're always trying to pitch, and they figure if they pitch to 100 people and they get like 10 sales out of those 100 people, then they're successful in that. But for me, that always means that I'm chasing the one individual person, and I actually like to have things a little bit easier. So I like to create a scenario where I am helpful, and other people in that are also dealing with my ideal client feel that I'm helpful. And then I'm going to get multiple referrals from those individuals instead of
Mm,
chasing the individuals. So it makes it a lot easier when you're, pretty much the one running your show. You don't have a salesperson on hand. It makes it easier on your time. It's also way more fun because you get to develop really deep relationships with those partners, right? I mean, Pip, how long? I mean, we meet almost every day for like a very long time, and that relationship is super deep. And that's when, so when something comes up
there's
that's a really
trust.
good fit for you, yeah, it's I'm not actually selling you. I'm just like, hey, I know somebody who can solve your problem, right? And you should
Oh,
talk to this person, right?
that reminds me.
And
There's someone in the Facebook group that asked a question, and I tagged you. Just to
oh,
interrupt you slightly.
terrific. Thank you. Yeah, so that's how it works. So when you develop deep relationships with people that have similar target markets, similar ideal clients, or people that have different target markets, and they're looking for, there's a gap in their services, or like I've got one referral. Who's the Facebook user? Can
I
you
have to
tell?
look. I have to look. No, I wish I could.
Okay,
Sometimes,
I know.
you know
Yeah,
how you get your face on the face on this little thing is you have to
yeah.
be like one of our pages. Um,
Oh, I see. So I just want to go back to this one last thought before I totally lose it, because you know how I am with my threads. Um, if you find somebody who doesn't offer what you offer, or offers something similar but to a completely different type of client, those are also really good people to get deep relationships with, because I've got one pal, and he does websites, but he mostly does websites to support his Google ads business. So whenever he gets a website that's not going to go anywhere with Google Ads, or if it's not a WordPress site, or if they need maintenance on their site and they're not doing Google Ads with him, and they're hosting with him, he's glad to offload that sort of small work stuff. And I've got a system to fit that into, which makes it not small work stuff. It's not an
mm,
individual or two people that I'm doing that for. It's like 50 people I'm doing that for, and we have a system and it's organized, and so that becomes and then he looks great for having someone to refer. I make him look great. We have a good relationship.
mm.
If there's any other kind of, and you also have to be really mindful. So if there's any talk about, upselling, then I need to discuss it with that first person to make sure
Yeah,
that
yeah. It's not just.
make
It
the
sounds like good communication,
church. Yes, exactly, exactly.
right? And I mean, so and relationships are built over time. We think we make these plans and we want things to happen really quickly. And
Yeah.
sometimes they don't like, so if you're in marketing or the business of marketing, 7 years. 7 years is a little bit of a magic number. Uh, because if you dedicate yourself to helping people and putting yourself out there, it will happen. You will forge great relationships. If some of you know that I'm well known in a group called Girl Gang that honestly really has helped me. I think Rena's a moderator in there. And like just the people in there, we all support each other. And
Yeah.
I think that's really helped, right? So let's get
Yeah.
into sales channels because I know that some people
Yes.
are super interested in this. Um, Now we believe you should have 5 sales channels, and Rena, you have the BNI, right?
Yeah, yeah. I count the BNI as one sales channel, and then I have one relationship that's really fostered from that, which is I think of as a completely different sales channel. I think of GG, formerly known as Girl Gang, GG Group, as another sales channel. That that one is a little. I work that a little bit differently. I usually take over other people's businesses in that group, so that's I don't always look for the work because there's a lot of
Mm.
competition and things like that. A lot of people doing websites in that group is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
So then I forgot we went through the sales channels during our meeting, and now I'm blanking
Well,
completely.
we did get in a little argument about the difference between
Right,
sales channels and marketing channels because they
right.
do intersect, and it's really interesting because sales and marketing are now more than ever intertwined, right?
Okay, so tell me what you think the difference is between a sales channel and a marketing channel, Pip. Let's do that.
Interesting. The actual definition of the difference. A sales channel is um, a way that business comes to you versus you responding. Like, so you're still responding. So a sales channel would be like your website, right? People go to your website, they fill out a form. Ah,
Right. Oh,
you.
I see. Okay, got
Oh, I muted you.
you muted me. Oh no. Yeah, so that's actually a really important distinction. And just for those of you that are out there, it's Greg that's yelling Girl Gang is the best, of course.
Hello, Greg.
Thanks,
Um,
Greg.
so
Our number
sales
one fan.
channels, right? Oh, can Rena? I'm getting feedback.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, yeah. Hold on. There, I muted you for a sec so I could just chat away because I have all the power. All the power. Sales channels, so like affiliate marketing. Oh no, I'm still getting feedback. Damn it. Um, Affiliate marketing's one. Rena, you nod because I'll turn you on in a second. But you have affiliates? You do affiliate marketing where you use you recommend sites and things you use. Is that correct?
Correct. I do. But not to a really large degree. Basically, you know, for Google Workspace, we set that up for clients, so we'll use an affiliate link for that, those kinds of things. But I don't actually do affiliate marketing to any degree in terms of blogging
Or having a
strategically.
website?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a
So
very
another
small channel.
channel is your existing clients, right? So upselling your existing clients, they've already bought from you, they already trust you. That's a huge way. Hard to approach sometimes. I will say I'm kind of a chicken sometimes, even when I know it'll benefit them. I don't know what my problem is really, but
Actually, you're not terrible at it because you actually do send out newsletters about that all the time. I'm actually quite impressed with that. So I don't know
I'm
if you
like I
realize,
do.
yeah, that on your yes, because I participate on your newsletter. I get them. What I noticed is that when I signed up for your training course, your SEO training course, I got the appropriate upsells to the lab and then to the I forgot what the other one is called. Oh, the Google Ads lab too. Like the membership and the Google Ads. So I definitely received those from you. So you do upsell in a way, maybe not in your sales conversations, but you let let your clients know that these things are available. And I also find it a little bit tricky to do that. But this one thing that worked really well for me recently was just meeting my old clients that I haven't seen in a long time and saying, "Hey,
Mhm.
There's this grant out there. Do you want to refresh your website? Do you want to add a booking link, booking section? Do you want to improve your on-page SEO? This is the time to do it. Here's the grant information. So that really
Interesting.
worked for me, which is not something that I've ever actually tried doing. I put the stuff out on social most of the time, and then the people that are in close contact with me regularly usually get that information. But now I'm realizing that making those calls and looking through your client list and seeing, oh, what's happening to this person. So,
Right.
I booked a
Well,
massage with one of my clients a few weeks ago, and that turned into a sale.
oh, interesting. Because
Yeah,
we are changing some of the things we do. As y'all heard, we have a course and things like that, but we've also decided to package up some of our services so they happen in a smaller window of time, and it's just a one off. And
all right.
oh, and I need to go to my old clients and see that, right, and visit them because they would be interested in buying it.
Totally, that's the thing. So totally, because there was one person who went and went away and got some work done with somebody else because they didn't realize that I had done that, and that was sort of the one moment where I'm like, okay, I got to get everything up on my website. I got to make sure that I'm talking about things, and then the other thing that's also very good at upselling is to tell about e-commerce marketing. You can say, oh yeah, we had this client, we do that, and we had this client and it worked out really well for them. We weren't really sure what to expect, but these were the results. And you just speak the success stories. You don't have to, like, of course these things should be living on your website already and hopefully in a Google review. Actually speak the stories like you're excited that you did this work, and it's kind of, you are excited that you did that work generally.
I'm always excited when I get the work done, but that being said, oftentimes it doesn't get on our website. So we do sell things that we actually don't have on our website. And yes, it is
Yeah.
being updated. Yes, it is. But so sales process. Let's jump into sales process for a minute and talk about um, the process of sales. Like, so because this is, I think, where people are afraid is that opening the door, right?
Yeah.
The what are you asking for, like, and how are you asking, and who are you asking? Like, so Rena, do most of your clients know their target audiences of who they want to sell to?
Um, they think they do. So, for the most part, they have a vague understanding. Absolutely. But I do still get clients every now and again who do sell fairly generalized things, but then they'll tell me that everyone's their client, and it's actually not true. First of all, you got to eliminate people that don't have a budget are definitely not your client, right? So that eliminates a whole lot of people. And then you have to sort of, and when we ask what your ideal client is, definitely not everybody is your ideal client. Everybody could be your client, but everybody's not your ideal client. So
I
making that really
explicit,
niching that,
yeah.
that's where I niche. I don't niche my offerings, but I definitely, I mean, I have two niches really, but I definitely niche my my ideal clients, and I have multiple categories of ideal clients. So
Interesting. And
yeah,
a lot of us are still figuring it out. We're still going, like, we work with one of our favorites are um places with a location that do e-commerce as well, so
yeah,
which is really interesting, right? But in the process, the reason I brought this up was because even if you don't exactly know who your ideal customers are, you can know types of businesses you want to work with, and you make a list, right? Like, if you're actually going to go, and they try to teach this at the mastermind, it's great to have 80% referral, but you
yeah,
need to be going out and
yeah.
having a strategy to interact with people. You can't, it's not about posting and praying, you know.
Yeah, I know.
It's really not. It's about being consistent. If you're doing
Yeah,
social and marketing, it's about consistency, talking about your expertise. People will come to you over time, but
yeah,
that's the long game. The shorter game for sales is make a list. Make a list of the people you want to work with. And
yeah.
I have been in an office where on Tuesdays we went to the office and we made 100 calls to book 10 appointments for the next week. And that was if we didn't hit our numbers, right? And so that forced you. It was crazy. Um, oh, Greg's saying GG. Spray and pray, yeah, right. And
That's
I mean, it
right.
is something people do. I think it's an easy way to hide behind something and not
Totally.
like be accountable to process, sadly. And you know
Totally.
what? Because if you can figure out how many people it takes for you to talk to, how many people it takes for you to talk to get an appointment, how many of those people, once you get an appointment, do they turn into a sale? And if you can figure that out, you can figure out where you can improve,
And
right?
more, also part of that little scenario that you just said is timeline. So, for example, it doesn't really if if you know how many leads you need to close, that's great. To get the sales targets, but are you going to get those sales targets organized in the time frame that your goal is in? So if your goal is for this year, then for some people, I'm working with one client with very large packages, services, software for heavy industry. And the lead time and the sales process for them is super long. Like it's really long. They have to fly to different parts of the world and have sales meetings with their team. And it's a huge process. And then those companies need to, it takes a while for them to get the purchase order out because usually they're working with their budgets a year in advance. And then, you know what I mean? So knowing your sales thank you.
I
Knowing
love
your
the
sales,
picture.
yeah, knowing your
Greg, maybe
sales,
like our page, yeah. So anyway.
knowing your sales timeline is also very important for you to stay on track, especially when we're talking about managing cash flow, which is really ultimately what small business owners are typically doing with their sales. They're managing their cash flow so that they can keep paying their people, keep paying their rent, and keep going and making a profit. So that's really important. And
Business
so
is hard.
when yes, when you think about it, so it's two parts. So we're supposed to be talking about sales, but you can't talk about sales without marketing. So often people get confused. They think the marketing part is the sales part, and it's not. So marketing is how you get that lead in, and then when you get that lead in, what happens with that lead to make that sale? And that's usually often the part that people are missing. So they haven't worked out their sales scripts. They don't really know how, like you had mentioned earlier, Pip, how do you like to make those sales? So I have a very different approach than what Pip has, and you need to try out a few different things to figure out what your jam is and what's comfortable and what actually converts best for you. So Pip, tell us what your sales process is. You get that lead, you get that email, somebody wants to do business with you. What is next?
Ah, well, they get an email back. Hold on. They get an email back, and the email says, "Hey, let's book a meeting." We are so, and we might be slightly changing this, but it's a 15-minute meeting. That's it. We just want to figure out if we can work with you, and if you want to work with us with what we do, and then we can figure out a plan. So from there, then we go into putting together a proposal. Usually, they're pretty quick to put together because we sell mostly e-commerce SEO, Google Ads, and local SEO. And from there, we don't just send them the proposal. We meet with them again because
Right.
you have a much higher closing rate.
Yeah.
Because I took the time. I took the time to put something together with, and I want to walk you through it. Right? Sales is a secret.
Be nice so that they love me. Yes, that is also very important.
It's, I mean, I've run across some things this year where I've had to increase prices so I could actually do a good job for somebody because was not given enough time. The expectations were super high for what we could deliver, and things take time. And I was just like, I can't do it. It was a very hard conversation to have for me. But the
Yeah.
reality is, when I started my business, and I bet there's some people out there that are like this, I was afraid to send invoices. I was afraid of billing day. And you know what? I had to change my
Yeah.
head. Changed it. I literally took it off, put it back on, moved
Yeah.
around. Because I should be excited about that day.
Yeah.
I did this
And
work. I did a
also,
good job.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, you should also be of the mindset that you can still help people and get paid.
Yes, right. And so this is important. The other important thing is if you don't charge people enough, you can't give them the time they need, right? Um, I'm loving Rafi.
I
Uh,
know. Thank you. Yes, it's totally true. It's totally true.
so my last steps are at the sales meeting. Um, you know, do I close them on the call? Usually, uh, hold on. Usually I close them on the call, but the thing I do, which is one of the hardest things to learn, is you say, "Is that something you can do?" And then you shut up. And then if they can't, or if there's a reason why, like if it's money or time or whatever it is, or maybe they have more questions, then you can actually get to those questions. If you get off the call and they don't ask you questions and they say, "Oh, that looks good. I'll show it to my partner," there's probably an issue there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The other one, the other red flag that you want to address right off the bat before you even do a proposal is what is your budget? That one hoops me every single time because doing something like marketing and website, I mean, it can cost a very small amount of money and it can cost a very large amount of money um, depending on how well and how thorough and how all in inclusive your the job is that you're going to do. So when you get a budget from somebody, that helps to um, make sure that they have realistic expectations, but also
Mm,
what will you pitch? Because maybe you could pitch a piece of what you would normally do rather than the whole thing for that budget and explain to them what the whole thing would look like so that they know what they're working towards.
yeah.
So
Is that
Greg is
Greg?
asking, yeah, are you guys pressure or no pressure salespeople? I think I'm a no pressure. In fact, I don't even think I have any pressure at all. And maybe I don't have a pressure. I don't even have a gauge. Like I'm not
Uh,
even registered on the pressure gauge.
yeah, I don't think we pressure people. I mean, if I want to work with you, I'll tell you I want to work with you. Uh,
Yeah.
the other thing to make note of, and oh my gosh, it's slipping from my head right now. Damn it. Oh, yes. I try to break the ice about the budget because lots of people don't like to answer that budget question. We have several ways we ask. Um, the reality is, I tell them, I can spend millions. So you might want to tell me because I
Yeah.
can. It's marketing. You could spend millions. So that's a way to bring. I like laughing, so I like to bring that joy. We are out of time though. We went over because Rena left me at 10:59 and then came back. So we got to stay on a little bit. Next week we are talking about something fabulous. Um like it is, oh my gosh. So the
What is it?
boys, the men did not put their topic in for next week.
So did we give them one?
Yeah, yeah, we did.
Which
And
one
it's a
did
great
we
one
give them?
because I'm so excited to learn about it. We are talking about Chat GPT and websites.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
terrific. I think I
So,
can shoot over a link for that. All right.
yeah, yeah. Awesome. We will
So,
see you all next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, the banner is now up, Greg is telling us, which is good. We were a little behind because summer's coming and all our brains are scattered. But we will we will see you. Bye, Glenna. We'll see you on Friday. Yes, I'm coming.
thanks for
Okay.
coming.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.